Thank you, Ray. My name is Shelby Fleischer. I come to you as an entomologist who's worked in agriculture for some 26 years. I've worked in the cotton fields of Alabama, and also here in Pennsylvania I've been working in agriculture for 17 years. Now, I believe I'm seeing global warming already changing our pest populations. Insects are better able to survive the Pennsylvania winters, and during the warm summers they're developing faster and producing more generations per year. The warming climate lessens the protection afforded by the Pennsylvania winters and the winters in the states immediately to our south. And the trends that I'm seeing are very consistent with what climate change models predict. As a result, Pennsylvania is at increasing risk from insects and plant pathogens. Now, this report helps us understand how the emission path we choose affects agriculture. Dairy, for example, is absolutely critical to agriculture in Pennsylvania, and heat stress decreases milk production. In the high emission future, July milk production is projected to decline 15 to 20% by late century, but in the low emission scenario, this decline is cut in half. Also, dairies are much more vulnerable, much more sensitive to reduced production from climate change than dairies in New York, and that affects the competitiveness of our Pennsylvania agriculture. Now, yes, there will be winners and losers with climate change, and moderate climate change increases yields of some crops because of the warmth, because of the longer season, and the fertilizer effect of carbon dioxide. It's surprising and true that our plant hardiness zone has already shifted from the 5 to 6 range up to the 6 to 7 range just in the last 16 years. But many important Pennsylvania crops, such as grapes, cultivars of apples, need a minimum number of chilling hours to be commercially viable. The thousands of acres of Concord grapes along Lake Erie are at significant risk of very large yield reductions by mid-century under the high emission scenarios. Our apple cultivars will need to adapt to climate change. Also, heat stress, which are days above 90 degrees for plants that I'm speaking of here, reduces yields of crops that are adapted to our agriculture, such as potatoes, sweet corn, apples. By mid-century, under the high emission future, we should expect half of July to reach temperatures that stress crops. Under the low emission future, that drops to about a week. Now, agriculture can adapt, but those adaptations can be expensive and they bring their own risks. Adapting to higher pest pressure will most likely lead to higher pesticide use. Adapting to higher temperatures will boost cooling costs for the mushroom industry, and cooling is among the top costs to that industry. So I believe that a low emission future will help sustain farms and the small businesses they represent to the rural economy.